Welcome to the Future Jam. I'm Mike, and I'm here with the normal guy, Alex, the usual, and a special guest. We had a listener reach out to us and say, hey, you need to talk about sports technology more. And what's a better time to do that than the Super Bowl? Tyler's joining us. So, hey, Tyler, what's up?
Hey, guys.
So, yeah, he's here. We're not going to do that for every listener, but, if you talk some good stuff in the chat, then you might get on.
Well, I feel like if you're the first person to respond, it's like your prize that you get.
But yeah, let's jump into basically on this episode, we're going to be doing some Super Bowl related stuff, and you can't get into that without jumping into Dumb Tech of the Week first. So let's do that. And Dumb Tech of the Week is from, I think we've talked about Google a lot. They've done a lot of dumb stuff in there.
It's hard not to talk about Google. They are like one of the major players in technology, and we are
they're like only three options.
Yes, it's Google,
Microsoft,
IBM.
or Apple. So like one of them is going to do something stupid, and then Amazon, they do stuff stupid all the time as well. So four major players, I guess. But if anybody's wondering at home, they released a game console that was only in the cloud. And I don't know if anybody even heard of this ever, outside of the faithful Google people. Because I brought it up to Tyler, and he's never even heard of Stadia at all. Correct?
That's right. So I'll be learning with everyone else if they've never heard.
I don't know if this is going to be like a learning segment. Like, get your I guess pen and paper ready to go, and we'll jump into the learning.
The more you know.
All right, think of this. Google makes a fantastic presentation to the world 2019 and says, hey, we're getting into the gaming industry, and the crowd goes wild. Because that was back when there could be live crowds. And they had a huge stadium, not stadium, but like a big auditorium with people like artificially cheering and getting wild.
Well,
said, what?
I heard people rush to stage when they announced it. They were so excited.
That wasn't a UK football game or anything like that, but
they had to get the CEOs out of there because the crowd was so wild about this announcement.
And basically, Google was saying, "Hey, we're getting into gaming, and we decided to build our own internal teams." So they built like 2 or 3 big internal teams to develop games themselves to be an exclusive platform for their own games, et cetera, et cetera. They hired a big wig from EA, and everybody was like pretty, positive, I guess. The name was stupid, Stadia.
Yes,
but how do you feel about that?
It doesn't scream like video games. Like Stadia, I guess it's trying to be like, because it's kind of like, it would be like Netflix for video games. So I'm guessing it was like a stadium maybe, but it would have been like $10 a month. You get all these games, and then Google was going to make their own exclusive games, which really is what you kind of have to do to make money in this business. And that's what PlayStation and Xbox are realizing. And PlayStation has signed a lot of exclusive contracts for the PS5. Yeah. And that's what Google was planning on doing. And they launched it in 2019?
Yeah, so they launched it in 2019, and it was kind of like arrived as a thud. Like, not many people signed up for it. To get the early access, you had to pay $100, and that was like for like a special controller that connected through your Wi-Fi and a Chromecast. I know a lot of people know what a Chromecast is, but yeah, it basically ran off your TV. And they had big promises like, oh, you're going to be able to play on your phone, any tablet, pretty much anywhere. You're going to be able to stream on YouTube, and people can jump in and play your games off of YouTube. And they just never actually like released any of their promises, or if they did, they just kept pushing them back, saying, "Oh, this feature's coming soon, that feature's coming soon." They released with barely any games. There's like maybe 20 to 30 games, and they slowly started adding games to it. But it was one of those things where like they never really had any exclusives. And like you said, Alex, you need exclusives to be a profitable like gaming, like, to get people to sign up for your service. And plus, go ahead.
No, because I was looking, like, one of the big games they launched to it was Destiny 2. which is on all the systems, and like they showed like the numbers, like PlayStation had like on average like 500,000 people, and Xbox 400,000, and like it was like Stadia 19,000.
Yeah, and also, I think Destiny 2 was already out for like 2 years at the
Yeah.
time as well. So it's like they're getting old games, and then when a new game would come out, Stadia would say, "Oh, we're getting this game as well, but maybe 2 months down the road." So it just wasn't a focus for any other company, and it just, I guess, they're ahead of their time in a way because a lot of people don't have fast enough internet to even stream video games off the cloud. Like, I don't know what your internet's like, but my internet is not fast enough. I did the beta and it was laggy. I don't know, Tyler, what's your internet like?
Where I live, I'm only allowed 50 megs,
Okay.
so pretty good.
Only allowed?
State of the art.
They keep you your landlord keeps you locked down, like, hey, don't watch too much Netflix while I'm trying to download all this illegal stuff on my internet.
Because where I live, you can either have Cincinnati Bell or Spectrum, which is I think part of Cox. But yeah, when I signed up for both of them said where you live, the apartments that you live, you can only get 50 megs and nothing more.
And that's not fast enough to stream video games. I'm sorry. So
Or
you're not
RDN.
you couldn't be a customer, Alex. I don't know how fast your internet is, but you probably wouldn't be a viable customer.
Yeah, we have the Cincinnati Bell Fiber Optics.
So if you have actual fiber, I think you out of the three, you would be able to do it. So
Yeah, take that, you two.
I know. I was actually pretty pressed. I almost told my wife, hey, we should maybe look into moving to a different house so we could get better internet, because I wanted to really test this thing out. That was my main driver to look for another house, is the internet. And I actually email since our provider, Cincinnati Bell, like I emailed them a couple months ago and asked them, like, hey, is there plans on bringing fiber to my neighborhood? And they said, we'll get back to you. But anyways, to make a long story short, Google did not do well, and they didn't get enough people to sign up. So they internally canceled all their games. They're not making games anymore. Personally, they're just going to stick with we'll get games from other companies, like, oh, we'll get Fortnite, or we'll get. And funny enough, they don't even have Fortnite, so they don't have the most popular game. They have Destiny 2.
Well, like, I think they thought just getting in this business was easy. And I think a lot of companies just decide to get into making video games because they think it's easy.
It's not.
And like, Microsoft is still struggling and on the fourth system.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an easy, like, because you have to have the games, you have to get people to play them. Like, there's a reason why a lot of these video game makers go out of business.
And there's like tons of companies that do it that people don't even realize do it. Like, did you know Amazon has their own gaming companies that they're trying to make? Like, yes. People don't know that. Like, people don't know Amazon's trying to do this.
I mean, like, Facebook is struggling with Oculus, and that was a company they bought that already had like the setup. I know you don't like the WWE, but WWE always had the same video game maker for years, and people those games are always fun games. And the last game they made, they decided to make it on their own, and it was terrible, super glitchy and all. And then now they're like, "Oh, we're going to take 2 years off and redo the whole game and make a better version going forward."
So basically, the moral of the story is, if you're a big company, you can't just throw money at a problem and just hope that it's going to work out. Like, you have to like if I was Google, I probably would have like put more money into it and like actually saw these like games through, and maybe even waited to release this product till like more of their features were ready to go. So they released too soon. There was a lot of issues, and they didn't have any exclusives. So
yeah,
they should have waited, and probably would have been better.
Yeah, like, at least like do studies what your best exclusive game would be, or like the one that people would be most excited about, and launch with that.
You may have already said this, but is it like a monthly subscription, or how much is that a month?
So basically, there's a $9.99 a month premium subscription, and with the premium subscription, basically it gives you access to high definition streaming of games. and you get like free titles like every once in a while. But you have to buy your games. And then the free tier, you still have to buy your games, and you can't stream them at high definition or
So
full high definition.
That's kind of hard to compete with something like I know I have like Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
You get their Xbox Gold, and you get games that you can play for free that you don't have to buy. And then after like a year or two, they'll take them out of there, and then if you want to still play it, you have to go buy it. But other than that, I mean, that's going to be really hard for them, obviously, to compete with that.
And the thing is, if they for some reason canceled Stadia, all your purchased games are not physical copies of anything. So that whole library you paid for, no more. It's wiped off the face of the planet. So, they should have done what you're saying is kind of like a Games Pass thing where you pay one cost and you get access to all these games, kind of like Netflix. But I guess Google kind of doesn't see that as a profitable thing because Xbox is losing money on Games Pass, because they're trying to get a lot of users, and eventually they'll have to raise the price. But I just don't think Google just had it figured out, and I think this is a sign they're probably going to cancel it altogether. What do you think?
I think it's like the slow death. They don't want to admit that it was complete failure at first, and then like slowly do away with it in a little
bit.
That
doesn't bode well for Google products because they've already canceled a bunch of high profile stuff. Like they canceled Google Music recently. They canceled a bunch their old news application and a bunch of other things. So people don't have like big trust in Google right now. I don't feel like. So,
well, they have enough trust to let them start gambling on Google's applications.
I saw this and I kind of chuckled because you can already gamble on Google phones with the Robinhood app. You can already gamble in the stock market. So this, I guess, a shadier version of that would be downloading a actual gambling app, and I guess that's become legal in America more in other countries.
Yeah, so more and more states are passing gambling regulations, and it's all on different levels. But Google announced that they're allowing 15 nations, the U.S. being one of them, starting March 1st, for people to be able to download gambling apps on in the Google Play Store. They have a couple guidelines, like so the app has to be approved by the government that they're located in, and then it has to be a free app, and it can't be tied to your Google in-app purchases that Google already has for a lot of their applications. So I think Google wants people to be able to gamble, but they don't want to really be tied to it.
And Tyler, you have an iPhone. Does the iPhone let you gamble?
I honestly have no idea. I don't gamble, but although funny you say that because I do have Robinhood and I have a couple stocks, but I don't view it as gambling. So I guess by the way you look at it, I guess technically Robinhood. I don't know, but
I was just joking about Robinhood being gambling.
Yeah.
But it's semi-true at this point with GameStop and all that. And I know we didn't ever cover that story, but that's just if you guys are curious, just read up on the GameStop thing. It's probably the most interesting thing to come along in the financial world in a while. It's just bonkers, and I'm not educated enough to really comment much on it.
Yeah, we decided as a group that we're like, we can't talk about this. We don't really understand it, so.
We already sound dumb enough, Alex, and I don't want to bring that up to another level of idiocy. So I'm staying out of it. But let's get into the main reason why we're here, and that's sports. We worship sports in this country, and the biggest thing we do every year is the Super Bowl. And we're going to talk about some tech around that and some of the advancements. And before we do that, let's get into some I guess sports tech stories. And Nike's one of the biggest sports related products out there, or companies. They had a weird shoe promo video, and I don't know how to feel about it. It's kind of awkward looking.
So everybody knows I'm a Skechers man. I love my Skechers, and I
He
never
does
really.
wear the shape ups too.
I don't wear shape ups. I wear the regular Skechers. I should get shape ups, but my butt already looks so good. So I don't
That's
know.
true. You have those bedazzled jeans. You always show off.
Am I going out jeans?
That's true.
Nike released a video to Go FlyEase.
This is the worst name I've ever heard for a pair of shoes, by the way.
Yeah, but it's the one pair of Nikes I really wanted. So it's a hand-free shoe.
It's a lazy man shoe.
Yeah, you just slide your foot in, and your foot's in. Like, so it's like hard to explain. I recommend watching the video, but it kind of just like snaps into place. So you put like the shoe is technically like two different shoes, like two different
It's already
parts.
going back.
If you're watching at home, I'm doing like a hand, so Mike and Tyler can see. So like it's like two different parts, and the first part's at like where you put your foot in, it's at like a 30-degree angle, and you put your foot in, and that slides down, it clicks into place as like a shoe.
Yeah, but basically what they're emulating is, the motion of like I'm lazy. I don't ever untie my shoes. I just slip them on and slip them off. So the motion you do where you slip your foot in, and then when you go to pull it off, you put your foot on the back of the shoe to try to pull it off. This one, when you put your foot on the back of the shoe to pull it off, the shoe actually transforms into like a high-heeled shoe where you could slip your foot out without the back being like hindering you. It's like a transformer. Yeah, it's hard to really explain.
Yeah, these shoes are certainly something that is great interest to me. I packed on some pounds during COVID. They say corn 15, with more of a corn 30 for me. So not having to bend down and put your shoes on is actually, I think, a smart move by Nike, and honestly a blessing for people like me. And
they should call it the Corn 19.
Yeah, maybe like older people, I guess.
Hold on 1 second, Tyler. Boo! That joke by Mike.
Okay.
That one go by.
I tried to gloss over it.
No, but like I was thinking, and like one good thing is they do say like it would be better, like they're kind of pushing it, but advertising to people with like disabilities and all that might have a harder time putting on shoes. That's an easy way for them to put on shoes.
Yeah, that's what Nike's demographic. They want cool people with disabilities wearing their shoes.
Well, I guess they've been like doing more and more of that stuff. It makes sense. Like, they're getting that. It's a market, and like people still want stylish shoes. But like, I don't know, I was thinking like there's like times where like you have to run out of the house real fast to grab something.
Yeah.
And you're like, you gotta go get the groceries and all, and then you don't want to put in your shoes, you put them on real fast. Or
yeah, there's always a meme of you just grab whatever pair of shoes is just sitting there. So like as a kid, you'd be wearing your mom's shoes, like going out, like they don't fit you, but you're just kind of like crushing the backs of the shoe going out to get groceries.
I never wore my mom's shoes.
I don't know. I probably have. No, like
this beats the Velcro shoes, right? This is way cooler than the Velcro ones, and they're $120. So
yeah, it's not not a bad price. Usually double what I usually try to pay for my shoes, but it's still not a bad price for a shoe. But like I was thinking, like, because my kids if you take your kids to daycare a lot in the baby rooms, you have to take your shoes off to go in the room to pick up your kid.
Really?
This would be like it'd be the perfect way. You can just take them off and pick your kid up and get out real fast.
They don't have like little booties you could wear or something?
You could do both, but even that, like, you have to get them over your shoe and all, and that's more of a hassle than just taking off your shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just wonder how tight they are. Like if you have to run or something, the motion to get out of them looks like a running motion. So
yeah, I mean, like they could unfold in the middle of you running or something.
Not saying that I would ever run.
Yeah.
I mean, I have wide feet and fat feet, so yeah, I'm not gonna probably be able to wear these because it's gonna probably kill my feet. But it's nice to see other people enjoying shoes because I have like a small percentage of shoes I can wear. Let's get it.
Go ahead. Yo.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they're going on sale February 15th for Nike members, and the availability will be opened up in the rest of 2021 for everybody else.
Guess I need to get my Nike membership card ready to go. I don't even know where it's at. I have to look. Does anybody have a Nike membership?
No.
I don't know what that entails.
I didn't know it existed. Is it on Stadia?
Yeah, it's on Stadia. It's a download option. You can add it to your $9.99 a month plan. Yeah. Yeah. Let's jump into actually the nitty gritty stuff in the Super Bowl, and that's the ads. You know, everybody. That's the most exciting thing of the Super Bowl outside of the halftime show for most people. I don't know, well, how many people do you think are actually watching the football itself? I think my wife is only paying attention to the commercials and possibly the halftime show. I'd say it's maybe 50-50.
I would say I think people want to think they're going to watch the game, and then if they're not really a football fan, like, I don't care about this.
Or if the game goes sour early, then a lot of people tune out and just stick around for the sports and for the commercials and eating food. But you know, they're investing tons of money this year because none of the fans are in the stadium on like presentation. But still, that's not enough to keep like Coca-Cola and Budweiser and all the normal companies that have commercial spots like continuing to pay for the commercial spots.
Yeah, so Budweiser decided not to advertise this year, and they're going to give money to COVID vaccination awareness efforts. So people in the press release, so people can get back to the bars and hanging out more and drinking more Budweiser.
Yeah.
Coke isn't advertising at all. They're citing business reasons. They did just have to lay off a decent amount of people in December. You know, like, hey, we spent $5 million on an ad.
I think people by now know that Coke exists anyways, so.
Yeah, it's like, and like that's the big companies. Pepsi's not advertising for actual Pepsi, but they're lesser known brands such as Mountain Dew.
Oh yeah, the lesser known brand of Mountain Dew.
Well, that's what
Mountain Dew outsells Pepsi.
I think it does. That's what made Pepsi a player, right? Like, there's a lot of other like soda brands out there, but Mountain Dew is what makes it like a big brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but they're saying a lot of smaller companies like go filling those spots. Companies I've never heard of. You ever heard of Thriller? It's like a TikTok rival. I guess it's like the same
never
thing.
heard of Thriller. No.
And
I heard the song.
Yeah. And then Voom, which is like going after like the Carvana market, buying cars online and all.
So I'm kind of curious if the commercials this year are going to be better just because all those other brands are tired. I feel like commercials have not been good for probably 3 to 5 years, honestly.
They try too hard.
I think you get like one to three good ones every year, but other than that, it's pretty lackluster.
Well, yeah. Like, do we just have so high of standards for Super Bowl commercials? Like, I never care about commercials like during the rest of the year, but like the Super Bowl commercials come around, and like I have like this high standard that like you have to impress me with this commercial.
Well, we know you love your commercials because you watch TV still with regular commercials somehow.
Yeah, I have antenna TV. I don't mind the commercials, and I have Hulu with ads, which I know you hate.
Oh yeah, I preferred to pay for Hulu without the ads. And some might think I'm an elitist, but I feel like I'm just saving time.
We think you're an elitist.
Okay.
So like Hulu with ads, so like, oh, you can pick what commercial you watch, and it's the one with Kevin Hart for like the Chase bank card, and you can watch one where he's explaining the fees or like 3 different ones. Like, why do I care? I don't care about the card at all. Just show me a commercial and get to my show.
Because they want to make you feel like you chose it and not them forcing it upon you, so you feel a little bit better about having to watch an ad. But it's still stupid.
Tyler, where do you land on commercials? Are you Team Mike and Too Good For Him, or like the rest of America and love commercials?
So for Hulu, someone else pays for it and Netflix. So as long as someone else is paying for it, I'm good. Like, I don't have the YouTube one, so I guess I suffer through the skip ads.
Yeah, I have YouTube Music. They canceled Google Music, but YouTube Music, the only reason why I'm sticking around is because it gives me commercial-free YouTube. if they took that feature away, I would go to Spotify in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even skip a second. I'd just be like, cancel immediately. That's how bad YouTube music is, folks.
Is it that bad?
Yeah, it's pretty buggy. Yeah, there's a lot of issues with it, so I don't want to talk about it because it'll raise my blood pressure. But yeah, it's pretty bad. Stick with Spotify, folks.
And you're like, those 5-second commercials are so bad that you can't just switch. You're willing to deal with a crappier product so you can watch videos without like a 10-second ad.
Well, on top of that, I don't want the effort of like moving my library over and all that stuff. So it's the added like that issue as well. But I'd happily figure out a way to move my library over and get rid of if they made me start watching commercials. So that's all I want to say. Let's actually jump into the presentation of the game now. And they're going all out this year. Starting with iPhones. If you have an iPhone 12, I don't know who does. Tyler, you always have new iPhones for some reason.
You got the 12?
Yeah.
Oh, let me see. Ooh, fancy.
I got I'll take it out because I got paint.
No, you don't have to.
He's like, oh, people really want to see this phone. Look at it. It looks exactly like all the other iPhones. But you break your screen like every year, so like that's
I've
your
only
excuse.
broken my screen once.
Oh,
this is a story about Mike. So I forget what phone it was. We were at lunch at work, and Mike's like, "This phone is indestructible. It's like you could throw it, it does this thing." So he throws his phone across like the table, and like our one friend Andrew had to catch it. Like, "What are you doing, throwing your phone?" And then the next day he comes in like, "Yeah, my phone broke. I dropped it in snow by accident, and it broke."
Didn't you dropped your phone at the Bengals Eagles game, and it shattered.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. No, just turn it all around on me. I see how it is. All right, I admit it. I break my screen sometimes.
So,
but if you have the iPhone 12, Verizon, I guess, is in a weird relationship with the NFL. They are partners. They've been partners for a long time. Like that's like sometimes they've been partners.
A weird relationship. They have a business
weird. Like,
deal.
why is a cell phone provider like tied to a sports company? It doesn't make sense. Who watches sports on their phone?
Yeah, but it's also like the biggest advertisement. I mean, Sunday Night Football is always the #1 show of the week with viewerships.
Yeah. Like they always had the Verizon ads where like some guy's on a date and he's watching like NFL on his phone while he's on the date. Like, has this happened? Probably not, but you know it's possible.
I don't know. I watch football sometimes when I'm with my wife.
But
if I'm away from the house, I watch it on my YouTube TV on my phone.
I mean, it's cool feature because I think if you're on Verizon, you can watch every game and basically they have exclusive rights to a lot of things. But anyways, if you have the iPhone 12. They're giving extra camera angles away, like, oh, you can watch from the 50-yard line or the end zone, 25-yard line. Wow.
They have a sky cam.
Aren't you people watching it on your big screen TV? I don't know. Like, I guess this is for people who are working the evening shift on a weekend.
You get the different camera angles, so like you can have it watching it live and on your phone and checking out, and it's through Verizon sponsoring it, but as long as you have the iPhone 12, you can use it. It's not this, and you have to have the NFL app.
Yeah,
to do it through.
It's actually pretty cool because you can do like a look at the replays, and since they have so many different angles, like you can play the replay and move your screen and watch. It's kind of like you're like a drone just going around the player. So it's pretty cool. Like when you're watching a replay. So if you want to look at a certain angle, did he get into the end zone or was his knee down or something like that? You can circle around and look at that. You know, the perfect angle just to look. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, great! Tyler's selling me on Verizon now.
Yeah, I know.
I've been on AT&T for like 10 years.
Well, you can use it on any carrier.
Yeah, as long as you have the 12.
Can't. No, it's exclusive.
For the 12, it's for all 12s. And then if you have, I think if you're inside the stadium, if you have the Samsung S20 or 21, S21, you can do it.
Gotcha. And they have a fantastic name for it. It's the 5G Super Stadium iOS app. So, or I guess it's just called the 5G Super Stadium. They have to always include 5G and everything. I don't know if anybody's actually ever used 5G.
It's just a buzzword.
They don't have it in our area, at least, so I can't even mess with that. But
it shows up on my phone, but I know I don't have it.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're not going to get into it today, but there's what's called phony 5G, and the AT&T always says you have 5G, even though it's not really 5G. Guys, don't fall for it. All right, and then we'll jump into what CBS is doing. CBS is going all out, 120 cameras everywhere, crazy stuff.
They're having what, 32 cameras embedded into the pylons in the end zones. They're having 2 Sony Venice cameras,
like cinema cameras.
Yeah, the cinema cameras that they're using. They're having a trolley cam that zips down the sideline at 65 miles per hour.
I feel like somebody's gonna get injured. Players are gonna fall in front of the trolley cam and get run over by the 65 mile per hour.
It's just the other team controlling the camera, injuring the other team.
Yeah, Tom Brady's somehow gonna get knocked out of the game by this trolley camera.
But no, Tom Brady's not moving fast enough to get by the camera.
I think he could throw 65 miles per hour out.
I want to see Tyreek Hill race the camera down the sideline.
They should, yeah. I guess if Chad Ochocinco wants to race a horse, I want to see Tyreek Hill race a 65 mile an hour camera.
Yes, and I can imagine CBS is going to be talking about a lot about the cameras they're using during the games.
It's going to be so tired. Like, we're going to be exhausted just hearing camera talk.
They're using a movie bird crane, a 53-foot crane that's going to be in the upper concourse to give you like an overview. And
they're shooting 4K. They're shooting 8K.
Yeah.
They're shooting all the Ks.
720.
720 for the old iPhone 4.
Well, like, because there's only going to be like 20,000 fans in the stadium, so they need
have lots of rooms. For every other seat is going to have a camera in it.
Every cardboard cutout has a camera.
Yeah,
most cameras ever. I would hate for there to be some sort of technical difficulties during the Super Bowl. This could go bad, I feel like.
The only camera we have is the crane camera working for the game.
Yeah, if we watch the whole game from the 65 mile an hour camera and just like zipping back and forth, you'd be sick. Oh gosh. Anything more about the cameras?
No, there's just gonna be a ton of them. So
there's gonna be a ton, guys.
Get ready for them.
Let's play a game. Like, take a shot every time you see a camera, through another camera.
As long as you get the standard camera view for the actual game for plays. I hate when they go to the camera from the back.
What? That's my favorite view. I wish all the camera angles were from the back, so that way I could see like how the plays develop. Because like on the side, you can't really see like how half the field develops.
And I like
They're gonna have to switch it up for Tua because he's a left-handed quarterback, and you don't even see the side of the field barely at all that he throws to.
I don't think Tua is going to be seeing a lot of the field anyway. So
he's not going to the Super Bowl
any Super Bowls.
Yeah,
maybe as a backup.
Yeah, maybe as a backup. He'll be watching it from home. But yeah, let's close this out real quick with some of the advancements they use this year and kind of what athletes have been using in general, kind of to get better or to make sure they don't get coronavirus somehow. It's unavoidable at some point, but they worked really hard this year too. I feel like they could have canceled a lot more games than they did, and they did a pretty good job. And I think it started with like them doing like a lot of contact tracing and like constant tests. Like they wore like the bracelets that would like kind of tell like what players they were in contact with or different team members, and that way they could kind of, if somebody did catch coronavirus, they could kind of track it better. So that's one of the weird tech advancements they use this year.
Yeah, they had like a little like disc, like what's the RFID chips that they would use that would follow them around once they got in the stadium and like know who they were in practice with. And like, so that's when you saw like the Oakland Raiders this year, one guy tested positive. So the whole offensive line unit had to go home from practice that day. So they were all contact tracing through that way. Yeah, but it's cool. Like kept good track of it. I mean, they had a couple guys miss games, but I mean, they got through the season, but only a couple push games. The only real bad one was the Pittsburgh Steelers Ravens Thanksgiving Day game. It ended up being like the following Wednesday.
I think we got some cool things though. Remember the game, the Broncos game where they didn't have a quarterback? That's a highlight for the century.
Yeah.
Not the century, but
it sounds like the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, they don't have a quarterback.
We have two mediocre quarterbacks.
Oh, by the way, folks, we have two Philadelphia Eagles fans on the line today.
Yeah, so. Tyler's
yeah, that's right. Super Bowl 52. I'll never forget.
Me and Mike watched it together.
Oh, that's right. We did.
Yeah, watched it in my living room.
Was that 2 years ago?
No,
that was 3.
3 years ago.
55.
Wow. It happened in 2018, but I think it was the 2017 season.
Yeah.
So is that your like most memorable Super Bowl like experience that year?
Yeah, it's the one I was happiest about.
It's the one you're happiest about. But that's like such an odd year to go to the Super Bowl because it's like with a backup quarterback, and you probably never would have expected you would have gone to the Super Bowl that year.
I would. They had a lot of injuries that year though. They were on guys were like falling. Peters got hurt towards the end of the season and all.
Yeah, I think that's that Super Bowl win is probably the biggest surprise like outcome Super Bowl win I've probably ever seen.
I listen to Philly sports radio every morning, and as soon as it happened on a Sunday, that following Monday, every single show was saying, it was a good season. It's over. Nick Foles is the quarterback, and even Nick Foles' last 2 games, he was terrible. And then that Vikings game, the first half it was terrible. And then
the first half the first half they were fine. It was like by the second half the game was over.
Well, I meant the first quarter. Sorry.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, because the Vikings came and scored within like the first drive in like 2 plays they scored, and everybody thought it was over because they had that big game against the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I regret bringing this up, honestly.
You can sit this one out, Mike.
Yeah, I got my Eagles banner from the Super Bowl hanging up behind me.
I went to the Super Bowl parade, and
I was there.
Were you? Yeah.
Yeah, me and my brother drove in for it.
So me and a friend of mine did too. It was pretty cool.
No, I didn't go for the Eagles. I went in 2008 for the Phillies. That's it. So I went for the Phillies one.
Oh, sad story. Full of lies. Top to bottom.
Yeah, because I was thinking.
Were you also there like burning cars and flipping over like trash cans?
We did that together, Mike. We watched the game. It was your car.
That's true. I climbed up a power line thing and power pole or whatever they called it.
A telephone pole?
Yes. Thank you. Lost my words.
No, but a cool thing that they were doing this season is they put a lot more money in the VR for virtual reality.
Yeah, I that was the thing that I was most impressed with watching like the feature of like all the sports technology they had was the VR. Like that was cool. Like they could basically get in-game like experience without having to be in contact with a lot of people.
Yeah, so it was mostly they said for quarterbacks and linebackers, like the people that kind of run like their side of the ball. So
yeah, I can't really see a receiver doing very well with it. But quarterback makes sense, or anybody who's who's reading the person who's reading the offense or the defense. Yeah. I could see it working good for that.
Yeah,
it'd be cool if they actually hit people while they're in VR, and they'd probably like.
But they get them those suits, so it feels like they got hit.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last week.
And then they've been doing like more fitness monitoring on players, so they have like the watches, and they can tell how hard a player is working out, and then they can determine how much sleep and recovery time that they need.
Yeah, make sure they don't have sex, because everybody knows if you don't have, you're not supposed to have sex if you're playing sports. So
it makes your knees weak.
It makes your knees weak. So yeah, they monitored that closely. I know they had coaches in like people's houses making sure everything was above board. So
I'm writing this down.
He's writing this down. Like, I can't wait to be a coach.
Because like you saw like a lot, especially early in the season, like a lot of guys like missing practice, and like it would be like, especially like running backs, like they're monitoring. Like they think if he keeps pushing, like he might pull his hamstring. So like they're not practicing today from like all the monitoring and all.
So what's funny is I think all these tech studies have showing that the old-fashioned idea that more practice is better is maybe not necessarily true. Like, the body needs time to rest, and I think the teams that aren't pushing their players as hard during practice are probably seeing better like results as far as injuries and stuff like that goes.
Well, like it's just you're showing more and more that you just need to take time off. Like they're showing. I was reading an article about the NBA, and like a lot of these like young players tearing like their Achilles and stuff, like blowing out their knees. Is it because they're playing nonstop year round with AAU basketball, and then they get to college and all, and like their bodies are just worn down. They're seeing like injuries that usually guys get later in like the league getting hurt a lot earlier, because like their body, they're just so used to playing that one sport, your body doesn't have time to heal. And it used to be like you played one sport in the winter and then you played a different sport in the summer, but now these sports are just like people. The football is a year-round sport because you're constantly lifting and all, and like your body just needs a break.
I know I do. I'm constantly in activity, so I can relate.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna say something.
No, we're gonna
there's no way that's true.
We cannot relate.
You want to get in predictions for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, let's do it. Who wants to go first?
You go first.
All right. I'm not betting. I mean, it's like one of those things. It's a toss up because both quarterbacks you wouldn't ever in a normal year want to bet against. I'm going Tom Brady just because I think they have the better defense and he has more experience. So I'm going Tom Brady.
What's your score?
It'll probably be semi-high scoring. So I'm going 20. Chiefs 27. I almost said Patriots, but Buccaneers like 31.
Yeah, Tyler.
Okay. So the score's going to be 27-27. Tom Brady in classic fashion coming down as time's expiring, gets him into field goal range. Ryan Suckup kicks a 40-yard field goal and makes it, and Tom Brady rides off into the sunset with 7 Super Bowl wins. 30-27.
Okay. A lot of 27s.
You said 31.
Yeah, 31-27. I have I'm going with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is just too damn good. That Chiefs offense, once it starts getting going, it's just, I know Buccaneers have a good defense.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs just make everybody look so bad.
Yeah, am I the only one who like gets kind of bored watching the Chiefs just because they're so good? Like it's like I don't know. There's no like it's like no flaws to pick out. It's just like okay, they're perfect.
The defense is better than what people think it is, but it's still not great. They don't have the run game isn't as good as it was last year. I think Alero isn't as great as everybody thought it was going to be. They look decent against Buffalo, but I just have a hard time going against Mahomes right now. Like the Buffalo game, they just looks so good. I have them. I would say 28-14 Chiefs.
Yeah, I could see them, stopping Tom Brady because it's happened before. Brady's been shut.
And
shut
I
down.
think if the Chiefs get up and they make the Buccaneers one-dimensional, I don't think Tom Brady's hasn't been as good lately.
He's not going to come back if the Chiefs get up, I don't think.
Yeah, especially Andy Reid knows how to run out the clock. I'm a big Andy Reid fan, so I'd like to see him win another one.
He's going back to Philadelphia next year, I heard.
Yeah, we got some guy no one has ever heard of to make Carson Wentz happy. So I'm a big Doug Peterson fan. I think people give him a bad rap, but Harry Roseman should have been that one that's gone.
You want to jump into the prop bets? Tyler has a couple that he wanted to offer up.
So there's a lot of prop bets, but there are certain ones that are just weird. So I'll go over and you guys say which one, what your answer is. So the first one is, what will be said first, COVID or pandemic?
I'm saying they're going to chicken out and just call it the pandemic. They're not going to want to talk the COVID actual word.
Yeah, I agree with Mike. I think they'll do like a video package and say the coronavirus, but it'll start off with the pandemic.
Well, that's weird because they actually have COVID as the favorite.
Oh,
so,
dang.
All right, the next one is
put our bets in.
Color of the Gatorade poured on the winning coach. Your options are orange, red, or pink, then yellow, green, lime. They've kind of bunched those together. Then purple, clear, and blue.
Did we talk about like a Gatorade pour on a previous episode recently?
I think it was last week because you said people don't do it anymore.
They do it for the Super Bowl.
I'm going lemon lime is the classic.
Yeah, I'm going orange because I mean, if the Chiefs win, they'll do orange.
Explain why.
They're orange.
Andy Reid's hair.
Andy Reid's hair. Yeah.
All right. The next one is, how many times will Bill Belichick be mentioned? More than once or less than once?
Oh, definitely more than once.
He'll be mentioned like 10 times.
Yeah, because they'll do like if Andy Reid wins, he'll be like one of the only ones to win multiple championships, and they'll list Belichick there, and then they'll talk about the Patriots and Tom Brady. I would put like the over under at like 10.
Yeah, they'll probably bring him up a lot.
All right, the next one is, how many commercials will have a dog in it? So 4 or less, or 5 or more?
Oh, I'm going 5 just because people are obsessed with dogs even more now than ever before.
I'm going 4 or less.
4 or less. Do you think maybe there might be more dogs because there's less of the Budweisers, Pepsis, and Doritos, or the other ones that are not doing the commercials?
Yeah, I wish Doritos would bring back their creators, like people creating their own commercials. That was cool. I think that series needs to return. But yeah, I don't know if it has anything to do with Coca-Cola or anything like that. Coca-Cola's had dogs, I think, before. Budweiser has had dogs, I think, as well.
I guess with the Clydesdales, yeah.
Yeah,
they ditched the Clydesdales recently, I thought.
No, they had them last year.
Did they?
Yeah,
I thought there was a news story they were ditching the Clydesdales for some reason.
Maybe
not, but it doesn't matter. Budweiser sucks. I hate them.
All right, the next one is, now this is a really weird one. Coach to have their nostrils seen first during the game. Andy
Reid, the mask
or,
hanging down?
I guess, yeah. Andy Reid or Bruce Arians?
I think Andy Reid, because he doesn't really wear a mask, right? Doesn't he wear just a face guard?
He's gone to the clock. He's gone back to the clock, especially after that very first game.
Okay.
I would have to say Reid, because I think I've seen Bruce wear the mask the whole game. And he's like a cancer survivor, so I think he probably takes it seriously.
I thought he got it at some point. Maybe not. But yeah, I'm going to Andy Reid.
So both Andy Reid. All right, the last one. How many times will Tom Brady's wife, Giselle, be shown? 1 or less, or 2 or more?
I will say, oh, dang. I didn't even, they don't really bring her up that much anymore, I feel like. I'll say 1 or less, and Tom Brady will still kiss his son on the lips.
I would say I want to say one or less too, because I don't know if she'll be at the game. I don't know if they're having like a lot of family at the games, especially if like his kids are in school and all.
Yeah, it's not like something special for Tom. Like, all right, honey, you've been there.
Well,
like,
like-
this is your 7th game. I'll skip.
Yeah,
I
that's
could skip
why-
this
Do I
one, right?
have to go?
Do I have to?
That's why I wonder like if like they'll have a lot of family and stuff at the games.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah,
It's a pretty big moment.
yeah. They
At least
will.
for everyone but Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's like, whatever. Yeah, I could maybe fit it. I need to get a new trophy shelf built, but you know. Any other prop bets, Tyler?
No, that was the last one.
And Alex, I think, had a quiz show real quick. And, I know we're going long, but we'll wrap this up soon.
Yeah, Mike said it was going to be a short episode, but that dumb tech of the week got us going.
Yeah, I don't know why we talked so much about Stadia. Whatever. I think
So
that was more popular than, never mind, go on.
well, we're doing another version of what came first. So kind
Oh.
of like we did with the Christmas version, but this is sports, not just football, all sports. So I want to give you a couple options. You just have to tell me which one came first. Let me write down the keep score. So the first one we have is what came first? The first Louisville Slugger baseball bat or the first football shoulder pads?
I'm gonna go with Louisville Slugger just because baseball's been around a lot longer.
Yeah, I'm going baseball, the baseball bat as well.
Well, you guys get no points this round. The first was the football shoulder pads invented in 1877 by Princeton's own L.P. Smock. It was made
Dang.
from leather and wool.
Good
And
old
he
me.
liked his shoulders really nicely protected, he said.
Well, I guess like at one point, a lot of people were dying from playing football. So Teddy
Did
Roosevelt.
they really have deaths in football?
Yeah,
back
so
then?
Teddy Roosevelt mandated that people wear shoulder pads to play.
It seems to be
So-
the main reason of death is your shoulders.
Yeah. But the first Louisville Slugger was in 1884. So 7 years earlier, shoulder pads came. If you haven't been to the Louisville Slugger Museum, it is a fun time. But downtown Louisville, nice.
Yeah. What's
A lot of baseball history if you're a baseball fan.
Louisville's pretty big on their baseball, but Cincinnati's better because first MLB team.
Okay. But I'm not that. Not a fight. I gotta get into.
Time to wrestle.
Yeah. Okay. What came first? The Stanley Cup or the U.S. Golf Open? So the U.S. Open in golf or the Stanley Cup?
I'm gonna say the U.S. Open.
I'm going with Lord Stanley.
And Mike is on the board. The Lord Stanley Cup was created in 1893. It was given to Canada's best hockey club. They used to pass around, so like the different leagues would have it. Whoever like won the best team would get the
Is
cup.
it
that
still
year.
the original trophy now, or they have a different one?
They have two. So they have like the original that's in the Hall of Fame because
Okay.
after you win, they add your name to like the rung. Now it's like super tall, and then
Yeah.
they have the one that they carry, like the people get that they hand out like at the
Bring to parties and like drop and break probably and all sorts of stuff.
The Stanley Cup has an awesome history to follow it. And then the U.S. Open was 1895. It was a 36-hole tournament that took place in one day, and the winner received $150.
Or a Big Mac.
So Mike is leading 1-0. Okay, this one is more up Mike's alley.
Oh, thank you.
What came first? Monday Night Football or the table tennis video game Pong?
Why is this up my alley?
Because you like stuff.
I do like stuff. I'm going with Pong.
I guess I'll go with what was the other option?
Monday Night Football.
There's not a.
Night
Please
Football.
give me a different option.
I don't know. I feel like Pong was probably created before Monday Night Football.
Okay, you both got on Pong. And no one gets a point.
Dang it.
Pong was released
We're terrible.
on November 29th in 1972. And the first Monday Night Football game was 1970, September 21st.
Oh, dang, not that far off.
And two historically great football teams are in it. The New York Jets versus the Cleveland Browns.
Ooh,
Oh.
The Browns won.
Most of the historically bad teams.
powerhouses.
The Browns won 31-21.
Wow.
Okay, now this one is more up Tyler's alley. What came first? The first
About
X,
I have 0 points.
the first X Games, or the Arena Football League?
Oh, I guess the obvious or the logical answer sounds like X Games, but the way this game is going, maybe I should pick Arena Football. I'm just gonna go with X Games.
I feel like arena football is older than I would imagine, so I'm going arena football.
Mike gets the point.
I'm not going with logic anymore.
The Arena Football League was founded in 1987
Dang.
and then folded in 2019. You guys ever been to an Arena Football game?
I don't think so. We went to a Cincinnati version of it. Did you go to an actual arena football game?
No.
Okay.
I
don't even know where the team was around us.
We had the Philadelphia Soul in Philadelphia. And I went to the kickoff party, and they were owned by John Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
So,
That's
so
funny.
like they explained the rules, and then John Bon Jovi did a concert, and it was awesome because it was just like 45 minutes of all their hits, nothing else, just straight hits. So it was fun.
I think it was fun to watch in like live the local one we had, but
Mike and I know a guy that was involved with some of the Northern Kentucky ones, and he would travel with the team.
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Seems like Mike the other one.
I don't want to remember this guy.
So the last one was actually 4 choices. What came first? Nike, Reebok, Adidas, or Puma? Puma, sorry. Or Pumbaa, the pig from the Lion King. You can put him in there.
I do know Adidas and Puma were two brothers that feuded, and they came out around the same time. And they kind of split the city in half. So half the city was like Puma people, and half the city was Adidas people. So I would say Reebok. I'm going Reebok.
I'm going Adidas.
Mike gets the point. So,
Yes.
well, I consider it Mike. So Reebok was started in 1958, but the parent
58?
company, 1958, yeah.
It's that young? I thought it was like 100 years or so. I guess
but
not.
the parent company,
It was
J.W.
a
Foster and
different.
Sons, was founded in 1895, and Reebok was just like a brand of theirs. Reebok is now owned by Adidas.
Yeah, it's funny is that Adidas owns I think Reebok and they might own Puma. So
They don't own Pumbaa.
They don't own Puma.
Yeah, so you were right. Adidas and Pumbaa were two brothers that had a shoe factory, the Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory, and then they kind of had a falling out during World War II. They were both on the sides of like the Nazis, but one was a little more into it than the other.
Which one was
Really
less
say-
Nazi?
I think it was the Adidas guy, but I don't know. It was a weird history.
If you're wearing Pumas, you're a freaking Nazi.
But like they both had like a falling out, and then both Puma started actually before in 48, and Adidas started in 49. But yeah, like the town has 2 football clubs because they didn't get along. They never got back together. And Nike was founded in 1964. No, Nike was actually older than I thought it was.
Yeah, I
You-
thought that
you
was
thought
the
it-
70s.
You thought Nike was only in the 70s? I thought Nike was probably from the 50s, maybe, but
Because didn't Phil Knight invent it or
Yeah,
whatever?
he's the founder of Nike. So Mike, you're the winner of 3-0. I think you won the Christmas one too. So Mike, I think you're 2-0.
I'm undefeated. We're gonna have to get some some talented players in here. Like maybe a listener out there can call in and challenge me one of these days.
I don't want to make another quiz.
Maybe not. I'm just getting a big head right now. I'm the king of the world.
I'm the worst in the company.
You were actually told that by somebody before.
You'll have that.
I think that's it for the future, Jane, right?
Yeah, the longest. We're trying to make this episode as long as the actual Super Bowl itself. Just listen to it at half speed, and you should be right around there.
Well, if you watch the all-day festivities that start at 11:30 in the morning.
Yeah, just listen to the show on repeat. Leave us a review on Apple or however you do it. I don't know. How do you review things if you have an iPhone, Tyler? Because I don't know. You have to go through iTunes?
They have what's called you mean for podcasts or
Yeah. I guess you do it from the podcast app. So if you guys have an iPhone, just get the Apple Podcast app. Leave us a review. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at The Future Jam. And I heard from somebody that they couldn't understand our phone number because they tried to leave us a message, but they could not because they couldn't figure out what I was saying. But it's 513 Bacola.
And what is the numbers for Bacola, Mike?
I don't know. I guess if you have an old-timey phone, go with it. If not,
I believe it's 513 268 2
riveting.
6.
It's riveting.
5.
This is not a half speed.
So yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. Go. I don't care either team wins. Go both teams.
Go Eagles.
Yeah. We just hope both teams have fun.
Yeah, we hope both teams have fun. I want to eat some good food. Hopefully, there's some good food available.
Puppy Bowl starts at 2.
Yeah, watch the Puppy Bowl. And have a great time, folks. Bye.
Why'd you wave?
Bye now.
Bye. Bye. Have a good day. Bye.
Okay.